Welcome to Redvee TV, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2022 season, as we continue our build-up to the new campaign. And with 16 days to go, it's our turn to look at one of Saints' new close season signings. Kevin, can you let us know who it is?
It's Curtis Sironen.
Curtis Sironen, our number 16, sponsored by the Branded Items Group, who are the #1 trusted supplier of promotional items and branded merchandise, based on Alexandra Business Park on Prescott Road. Kevin, tell us a little bit about Curtis.
Curtis Sironen, son of Paul Sironen, second rower, another big second rower as well. Kurt stands at 6'5". So he's going to add some size to our pack alongside the likes of Alex Walmsley and Dan Norman. Now, Kurt, I've heard a couple of stories with regards to Kurt's skill set. He plays second row, but I think he's played 6 as well. I was talking to a good mate of mine at the Challenge Cup game up at Pilks, and he said that the players are so impressed with Sironen's skill set. Like he's completely blown them out of the water. How skillful he is, how intelligent he is. So it's all a good sign for Saints. He's played for New South Wales under-18s. He's represented City Origin. So he comes with a good pedigree even. Can't speak. And it'll be interesting to see where he fits into our thinking.
Yeah, obviously he was at West Tigers when he started his career. And then first couple of years he played in the halves. I'm not sure on the graphic it says he plays prop. Yeah, I think he'll be a second rower for us.
Yeah.
Obviously it's a long time since he's played in the halves, but is he a candidate to play there if needed? Obviously you've probably got Jack Wellesby, who'd probably move there first of all, but you never know.
Yeah, that's it. I think it'd be one of them that mid-game, if kind of circumstances lend themselves that way, that he could well end up playing there and just kind of doing a job. Not, I don't think he'll start there. I think we'll shuffle the pack a little bit more before Sironen starts pulling on a standoffs jersey. But yeah, listen, stranger things have happened, haven't they?
Listen, he was able to play in the NRL as standoff in a partnership with Benji Marshall. So you must have something about you to be able to do that. Now, he is only 28, and it's not often you get players from the NRL coming over in the prime at that age. We do have to talk about his injury record, which he's been really unfortunate throughout his career, hasn't he? 2012, he had a shoulder reconstruction. 2014, he only played 14 games due to a shoulder injury. 2015, he had a neck injury, which limited him to 18 appearances. Hamstring injuries in 2016, a torn pec muscle in 2017, which kept him out for 3 months. 2018, he only played 4 games due to needing a knee reconstruction. 2019, he had a 22-game season, but unfortunately missed the playoffs due to a foot injury. 2020, he played 18 games, but in 2021, he only played 6 games due to a knee injury again sustained during round 1. In 10 years, he's only managed to play 130 games in the NRL. Obviously, from the stories you've been hearing, the anecdotes about how skillful he is in training, he is an NRL caliber player, but the important thing is we need to try and keep him fit.
Yeah, as you say, he's really unlucky there, isn't he? Because it's not his fault getting injured with some of them, as you say, like a torn pec. That's not his fault. Shoulder reconstruction, that's not his fault. So hopefully we can keep him fit. Maybe the kind of step down in intensity, although we wouldn't like to say it's too much of a step down from the NRL to Super League, might suit him. But hopefully we can keep him fit, because as I say, anecdotally, I've been told by, well, more than the one lad that I spoke to at Pilks, that he looks so good, and he could he could rip the competition up if his body allows him, and he can kind of get into the rhythm. And I think that's another big thing, like being over here and being injured. Hopefully, he's got that support network. We spoke about it yesterday when we were talking about Iggy Parsi, about having a support network over here. Hopefully, he's got that over here, and he can keep his concentration when he's if he gets injured. Sorry, and kind of come back rip roaring to go.
Yeah, in his 10th season, he's only played 18 games more. 18 games or more in a season on 4 occasions it's like seasons. So what you can say about him is he's not took a lot of miles off the clock, and it's a risk or reward basis for me. We've taken maybe a little bit of a risk on him based on his injury record, but potentially we'll have a cracker coming out of it. I think the other positive from that, as you say, is from the injuries he's had, they're not the same. It's different areas, so it's not something that is hopefully going to be recurring. And you know what? Listen, if we'd have spoke about Johnny Lomax's injury record potentially a couple of years ago, we wouldn't have had Johnny Lomax leading us to glory over the last few years. So fingers crossed, it's a fresh start for Curtis, and I think potentially he's somebody for us who could be an absolute massive star and a star of Super League this season. Yeah,
definitely. And that's it. And that's what I mean when I'll just clarify when I say him keeping his concentration. Johnny Lomax, perfect example. Someone who has done his due diligence on him doing all his rehab work. So doing that and following kind of our fitness regime, our strength and conditioning, which I always bang on about being the best in the country in Super League, even the best across France as well. If he follows that example, he'll play enough games for us. He might only need to play 18. Say they use that as a figure. Might only need to play 18 for us. But there's people going to come over from the NRL who've played less NRL games than him and had a great career over here. So hopefully, as we say, he can stay fit. And I'm not putting the onus on him. It's just hopefully his body kind of doesn't let him down, and he's a success in the Redvee.
Yeah, it's more luck sometimes that you need to stay fit. And you're quite right, Kev. Players from the NRL who play far less, and the reason being is because they weren't good enough in the NRL.
Yeah.
Curtis is somebody, if he hadn't been unlucky due to injury, probably would have had about 250 games under his belt.
And we wouldn't be signing him now. We wouldn't be signing him now if he hadn't been unlucky with injuries. No chance.
I think the good thing about him though is he seems to get the English game as well. I've seen a few interviews with him where he's been talking about growing up watching the English game in Australia. He was saying in an interview with John Davidson at Total RL, I've watched the Super League a lot, even from home, from growing up with Dad. We've watched games early in the morning. I can remember all of those great St Helens teams playing Leeds and Bradford in the early 2000s. I've always known about the club, and in the last few years playing in the NRL, you know what's going on over here too. Given their success, they've basically become the superpower of the English game, which is unreal. It's a bit surreal, so I'm just happy to be here to learn off some of the guys. I'm really enjoying this. That doesn't sound like someone to me who's coming over for a holiday.
Correct. Although I'm not sure I like him now because he's just made me feel old with thinking about games in the early 2000s. I've looked up that he was born in July 1993, which is like nearly 13 years after I was born. So I think I'm going to have to mark Sironen's card and have a word with him if I see him.
To be fair, Kev,
I'm not going to. He's 6'5" and like 17 stone. There's no chance of that.
To be fair, Kev, there is a good few of the Saints team that lined up in the Alex Walmsley's pre-season friendly, who you are in a couple of years' time old enough to be their granddad.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. What was the stat you threw at me? I'd have been old enough to be to have had them, or I could have had them when I was 23 or something like that, which made me feel really old. Oh no. Oh.
Well, what time you felt what you actually are. Old.
Thanks.
Do you know what? Even on your cardboard cutout, you have more hair. And that was only 12 months ago.
Yeah, no, I know. Just realised it's got it peeking out behind them pictures there.
Right, that is our number 16, Curtis Sironen, sponsored by the Branded Items Group for 2022. Back tomorrow, Kev.
Yep.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Catch you soon.